So you're thinking about studying abroad. It's a huge decision, one that can absolutely change your life. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the real, lasting benefits of getting your education in a foreign country. What is it that makes this experience so valuable? Well, let's dive in.
And that's the big question, isn't it? The whole idea of leaving everything you know behind. Yeah, that can feel pretty intimidating. But as we're about to see, stepping out into the unknown is often exactly where you find the most amazing growth and opportunities. So, is it really worth it? Let's find out.
Okay, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at learning that happens way beyond the classroom. Then, we'll talk about growth that comes from facing challenges. After that, developing a global mindset, building connections for life, and finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at the enduring return you get from this kind of investment in yourself.
All right, let's kick things off with the academics, because studying abroad isn't just about being in a new place, it's about completely changing how you learn. It gives you experiences that, honestly, a traditional classroom just can't compete with.
I mean, think about the difference here. You can study Renaissance art from a textbook, or you can be standing right there in front of the actual masterpieces in Italy. You can read about marine biology, or you can get your hands dirty, well, wet, gaining real experience at the Great Barrier Reef. This is where learning stops being abstract and becomes tangible, real, and something you'll never forget.
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. You're not just memorizing facts for a test. You're gaining this deep, multisensory understanding that you just can't get any other way. It's a kind of knowledge that truly sticks with you for life.
You know, this deeper way of learning naturally leads to some serious personal growth. Living on your own in a totally new culture, it forces you way, way outside your comfort zone. And that space, that's where you build true resilience.
And let's be real, it's not always a walk in the park. Trying to handle everyday tasks in a language you're just learning can be super frustrating at first. But pushing through those early hurdles is exactly what makes the whole journey so incredibly rewarding in the end.
This transformation, it really happens in stages. At first it's just about the basics, trying to figure things out. But pretty soon, that feeling of being homesick starts to fade, and in its place, this real confidence starts to grow. By the end of it, you find you're totally self-reliant, able to handle complex situations you never would have thought you could before. The challenge literally builds your capability.
All this newfound confidence leads right into our third major benefit, developing a genuinely global mindset. And this isn't something you get from reading a book. It comes from being directly immersed in another culture, day in and day out. By living with locals, you start to develop something called cultural sensitivity. It's really just the ability to see things from different points of view and to look past old stereotypes. And this isn't just, a nice personal trait, it's a huge soft skill that employers today are desperately looking for.
So why is it so valuable? Well, think about it from an employer's perspective. When they see study abroad on your resume, it's not just a line item, it's proof. It proves you're adaptable, that you have real cross-cultural communication skills. In a crowded job market, it makes your resume jump right to the top of the pile.
Okay, so beyond the personal growth and the killer resume, studying abroad is about the people. It's about building a global network and making connections that can genuinely last a lifetime.
The friendships you make, whether it's with your host family, local students, or other international students like you, they become more than just friendships. They're like these permanent bridges connecting you to other cultures, creating this personal global web that you'll have forever.
And this network you build, it pays off in so many ways. Of course, it's about the amazing memories and the deep friendships, but it's also a professional asset. These global connections can open doors to career opportunities you might never have even known existed.
And that brings us to our final section. When you add it all up, the academics, the personal growth, the social connections, it becomes crystal clear. Studying abroad isn't an expense. It's a profound investment in yourself, one that pays dividends for the rest of your life.
This really sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? It's not a vacation, it's not just a semester away from home, it's a truly enriching journey that reshapes how you see the world and just keeps on giving back, year after year.
So the big takeaway here is that this is a total transformation. You come back with new skills, you've grown immensely as a person, and you have a genuine global perspective. It really does prepare you not just for a job, but for life in this complicated, interconnected world we all live in.
And so that just leaves one last question for you to think about. After seeing all this lasting value, the academic depth, the resilience you build, the global mindset, the lifelong connections, what horizons are you waiting to broaden?